Visalaw is the first immigration intelligence platform built by immigration lawyers for immigration lawyers. We built it to support every area of an immigration law firm's work, not just research, not just drafting, but the full practice of immigration law, restoring attorneys' time for client advocacy. It starts with data. Visalaw AI is built on the largest and most robust immigration law dataset available, curated by immigration attorneys and continuously updated. Every feature, workflow, and AI capability is grounded in authoritative immigration law. The platform is built with enterprise-grade security, and customer data is never retained or used to train AI models. Our improved case law tools deliver faster, deeper legal analysis with clear authority, stronger context, and reliable citations you can trust. Our new research agent goes further. It identifies your practice area, checks live government sources for policy changes through GovSync, searches the full catalog of US case law, statutes, and regulations when needed, and verifies every citation before results reach you. Visalaw AI. This is immigration intelligence you can trust.
Good afternoon, good morning, potentially as well. It's 12 p.m. Central Time here for me, so you could fall on either one of those depending on where you're tuning in from. But happy lunch break potentially as well to anybody who's joining us today. Tyler, how are you doing? Glad to see you.
I'm doing well. Hope you are too.
I'm doing great. I'm doing great. And thank you everybody who's tuning in with us today to go over. We're going to be working on an I-601A case today in our drafting platform. We actually, as I sort of frame this, we do have sort of a special thing at the end where we're going to show you, we're going to review our I-601A draft with Visalaw. And we'll talk a little bit about that as we get there, but it gives, we're going to connect all of these things back. We're going to draft this I-601A case in a short amount of time here. Then we'll review it, get some ideas as to where we can improve it, and just show you the sort of the full spectrum of what Visalaw AI can do. If you are joining us today and this is your first time joining us, just know that we will send a recording out at the conclusion of today's live event. Because of that, you can step out at any time. You can catch up. If you get a phone call, anything like that, you need to step away. You will get the recording. You'll be able to allow people, peers, colleagues, anybody, you can send that to them and share it from today. As well. But because we are live, it allows you to ask some questions as they come up, as you see things and you have questions about them. Feel free to use the chat. I'm going to say hello here. So feel free to say hello back and get some practice with the chat feature. We've got Emily Cohen behind the scenes, who is our draft guru. She is helpful for answering any of these questions. If you're a current customer, if you're a new customer, we're happy to answer any of those questions at all today as we get started. If this is your first time seeing Visalaw AI, welcome and glad to have you. The best next step you can take if you're interested today, after seeing what we can do, is to sign up for a one-on-one demo with our sales team. That would be with Tyler or with Jack or with Will or with Josh. And we can show you in a one-on-one scenario what Visalaw AI can do specific to your workflow. So Tyler, what can people expect from a demo with you?
Yeah, I think the emphasis on the one-on-one time. I think it's your meeting. I think these webinars are great, but it's a lot of us talking. It's a lot of us demonstrating. I think the demos really highlight the ability to ask your questions and really understand how this is a good fit, could be a good fit for yourself, your firm, and just a more conversational overview of Visalaw as opposed to just us talking to you. So I would definitely say it's your opportunity to ask questions and really get into the weeds of how this is going to fit in with your workflow.
And one of the great benefits is after you book your demo, you can go ahead and start a 2-week free trial. So that's also great. It gives you the best opportunity to evaluate the tool and really just the best way to just see what it can do. And there's really no pressure. You get 2 free weeks access to the platform. So it's really the best way to evaluate if this is going to be the right fit for you and your workflow, which we are confident it is, especially if you are working on I-601A cases like we're going to be doing today. These extreme hardship cases can be really, really difficult for a number of reasons. obviously very document heavy, and we've got to turn those documents into a clear narrative that is going to go through USCIS and make it through that process and not get RFEs as well, knowing just how complex these things can be as we weave in these narratives. So let's go ahead and get started here today. Tyler, I'm going to throw your screen up here, and we will go ahead and get things going.
Absolutely. Let's see. Hopefully we're still live. Yeah, I think we are. So if you're not familiar with us, Visalaw is designed to be an immigration intelligence platform. So we provide one platform, all powered by AI, all very specific to the practice of immigration law, designed to give you support throughout the lifespan of the case. That support is going to be primarily built around AI-powered legal research, AI chat functionality, but also AI petition, brief, waiver drafting as well. And obviously, that's going to be where we're spending the bulk amount of today's time on our webinar. So what we're looking at here is that research or that chat style functionality. We are actually going to circle back to some of this at the end of the call today to interact with our draft, but we're going to skip this functionality for now, and we're going to go straight into our drafting platform. For anybody who is familiar with, has done a trial, or maybe is a current Visalaw customer, you probably know by now that anytime we're going to do a draft within Visalaw to draft an actual petition, a brief, a waiver, we're going to click into this drafts button specifically, and that's going to take us to our drafting, our draft library here. So these are going to be all of the individual cases or briefs, petitions that we've been working on, all sorted by the date created here. The majority of these are going to be completed drafts that I have the ability to go back to, open, edit, download, etc. While we're on the demo here, we're going to walk through the process from start to finish of creating that draft, specifically the I-601A waiver. So I'm going to come up here to the top right, and we're going to click on New Draft. You will notice that it's going to kick me into this drafting workflow here. So really all I'm going to do is fill out the information that's being asked of me and continue to click next until we get to the end result of reviewing that draft here. So the first step here is going to be to select the process type. We are going to be focused on the I-601A waiver today, but in case you're not too familiar with the process types we support, I do want to slowly go down this list so everyone gets an idea of what we support. It is going to be a healthy mix of both family and humanitarian process types, but also the business and employment side as well. So we support everything from asylum declarations, asylum briefs, cancellation of removals, E1s, E2s, EB1s, A's, B's, and C's, EB2 NIWs, H1B NIEs, H1Bs. We do L's, motion to reopen, O1As, O1Bs, obviously the I-601A and I-601 waivers. We do R1s. We now do RFE responses, T visas, TNs, travel ban NIEs, U visas, and VAWAs. So any of these process types here that I just mentioned, we will be able to draft a letter, a brief, a waiver, etc. So all that we're going to do is come down here and we're going to click on the process type we're working on today, which is that I-601A waiver. We're going to call this, we're going to provide this project with a name. And typically we would name this something a little bit more relative to the case or the client that we're working on, but we're just going to call this I-601A in today's date. Now, Visalaw is a tool that is best adopted across the firm or across the organization. So if you have support staff helping you with these briefs, Visalaw is going to match that workflow. We do have the ability to share this with individuals on the front end. So if multiple people or the whole firm was to be working on this one project or this one draft, we can share it so everyone has access to it on the front end. Once we click next, again, it's just going to work us down this step-by-step process, with the next step being the file upload step. As the name would suggest, this is going to be the step where we upload all of the supporting documents or all of the evidence for this case. And I have a few options. I have a few options available depending on how I want to get my documents into Visalaw. The most straightforward option is kind of this first option. I can click to upload documents and search my local computer. I can also just simply drag and drop documents into Visalaw here, which is what we're going to do momentarily. I also have the ability to select on documents that are already saved in the system. We'll talk a little bit more about this on the back end of the demo today, but there are going to be a lot of scenarios where we want to upload documents, including entire folders of supporting documents for a case prior to even thinking about drafting a brief or a petition here. So we'll talk more about that. But we also do have a list of integration partners now. So we integrate with Clio, with DocketWise, IMS Zoom, Google Drive, Dropbox, and OneDrive. So if your supporting documents are living in any of these locations as of today, you can easily connect your instance and just select on those documents when you're in the process of creating this draft here.
Absolutely. And those integrations, Tyler, that we've introduced are a lot of them are fairly new. So for anybody who's a current customer and you're using any of these things, whether for its document management, case management, and you want to get those things set up, we're always happy to help you out. Our support team is here to help you with those items and anything that comes up as well. But if you also have if you have a case management that you're using and are interested in us integrating with, we're happy to do that and happy to get your feedback on that. So feel free to let us know, what you're using and what would be really helpful for you as an integration.
Yeah, absolutely. That's really our first batch of integration partners. That list is going to be expanding, and to Ian's point, it gets expanded based on the feedback we hear. So as we start to hear a lot of our customers are on certain case management systems, we'll reach out to them to explore integration. So in the meantime, what I did is I just dragged and dropped a folder of supporting documents specifically for Maria Rodriguez's I-601A case. You may have noticed that I did have the ability, as long as I'm working with an extracted folder, to upload the entire folder here. I do not have to upload these documents one by one. I can upload the entire folder. It is worth mentioning for the system to work properly, we do want these documents to be individual documents, right? So as of today, we would not be able to upload just one PDF of all of the supporting documents in one PDF. We want to upload these as individual documents so the system can work properly here. We do now have all 15 of 15 documents uploaded, processed successfully. What the system did was it indexed or OCR'd each of these documents. So it pulled out the relevant context or content within each document. And probably goes without saying, but the content found in these supporting documents is ultimately what the system is going to utilize to draft our waiver. So it is important that we have all of our supporting documents uploaded at this step before moving on to finalize the draft.
And before you move on here, Tyler, I'll point out, just for context, if you look at the documents that were uploaded here, you have all sorts of information, things that you would obviously typically use in your case. You could also upload things, I think I see in here, there's probably, there's a statement, there's pharmacy records, marriage certificate, of course, all these things typical of what you might see. You could also just upload rough notes. If you have rough notes about a case that you've had an interview with a client, that is also something that is completely appropriate to add in here for additional context as these things draft. So just wanted to point that out as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we'll click next here. And as I'm clicking next, I already see a good question in the chat that I think is probably a good time to address it. So the question was asked, how safe is it to upload clients' personal documents to the AI tool privacy-wise? It's a great question. And so Visalaw throughout our system, no matter where you are, whether it's the legal or the research side, the drafting side, anywhere in between, our whole system abides by a strict no data retention policy. So no matter where you're uploading documents, the information you put into the system is not being retained for any other purpose than that immediate task. The AI is not training on any data that you put in. So Visalaw does by default provide you with that enterprise level security agreement. And it is built and designed for use of your client's data. Go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, and this is a really important distinction between what we see a lot of people using ChatGPT or Claude on either a free or a paid $20 a month paid version. It's very, very important when working with client data that you're using a software, whether it's Visalaw or not, that you're using a software that has enterprise data agreements, and that you have that safety net that's backing you up with that contractual agreement with whoever your provider is. Visalaw obviously built in with that. If you're trying to use a different software, you're going to have to look into that a little bit further. But we do have some information on our website about our security, and you can look that up. We have top of the line, all of these things. I'll put a link in the chat to our security and privacy page as well.
Yeah. So this next step is titled our exhibit list step. And as the name would suggest, it's all about reviewing and organizing the exhibit list here. Honestly, we can spend as much or as little time as we want to here organizing and spending time on this exhibit list. Foreshadowing a little bit, in addition to the letter or the waiver itself, the system is going to be putting together the index of exhibits and the list of evidence for us. So this step is all about organizing it so that when we download the petition bundle, the exhibit list and the list of evidence is in the order, the groupings, and everything that we want it to be in.
And as we, I'm going to stop here as again, real quick, Tyler, we have another good question here. If the system were not to recognize a scan document or not be able to read it completely, would it let us know? And so Emily has gone ahead and brought us an answer as well. It depends on the specific scenario. If it can't open the document at all, there would be a failure, which you'd see sort of on that previous screen in the upload step. If the document did upload, but no text was recognized, it would be included in the exhibit list and packet, but not cited in a letter. So that's one thing where stepping in and reviewing your documents at the end of the day is gonna be helpful there. But we do on the front end, if there's a failure there in the upload process, that'll come through.
Absolutely. Thanks, Emily. So on the exhibit list step, we have the option to do everything manually, or we can do a lot using the AI to do it automatically as well. So the first step here is I can just simply grab on a supporting document to organize it, and I can just edit these documents to appear in a specific order. I do have the ability to include a document in the exhibit list. So maybe I was including a document that I wanted the AI to have access to, but I did not want to include it as evidence for the case. I could toggle this on or off if I did not want that document to be included in the exhibit list. By default, each of these documents are eligible to be used in every section. Now, if I were to click next, I don't have to tell the AI where to use these documents. The AI is intelligent enough to know where these documents should be utilized. But in the event I did want that manual level of control, I can click this all button or this plus icon, and I do have the ability to tag documents to specific sections. Again, not a mandatory step. This is only if I want to override the system and essentially tell the AI the locations of where I want it to use these documents. If I were to click select all, I do have the ability to have the AI create those section tags for us. What this will do is it will automatically create those section tags, showing me where it's intending on using each document. And once it does, I can manually adjust that list if I needed to as well. I also have the ability to group documents together in a single exhibit. So if I were to select on 3 documents here and click create group, this is going to move these 3 files into a single exhibit, and I can provide that group with a name. But what I would recommend doing, at least to start, is I can select all documents here and just click organize using AI. The AI is going to intelligently order this list of documents and create those groups for us. So again, I have the ability to do all of that manually, or I can have the AI do the first pass, and I can now edit things as needed based on what the AI provides for us. So as we can see here, these groups are created, the documents are organized properly, and we can see that as we scroll down the exhibit list here. In addition to organizing the documents, we can also rename documents. This is kind of a bad example because there's really not a poorly named document in this list, but we'll go with this personal statement here from Maria. If I click on this one document here, I can click rename file. This will allow me to provide the document with a new name. But I can also, as we probably guessed, rename using AI. This is going to have the AI search through this personal statement and provide this document with a new name here, as we'll see momentarily. So it did switch that name up. Again, not a poorly named document to begin with, but this would allow us to rename all the files at one time as well. So maybe we receive a folder of supporting documents that aren't named properly or just aren't named at all. We can use this rename using AI tool to rename all the documents in one click here.
Mm-hmm. And that sounds like a simple, easy feature, Tyler, but that can be a real time savings, especially maybe you're paralegal and you're triaging this case and getting these documents organized instead of reading through every, all 15 to 30 different documents and making sure that you have the complete context. You can go ahead and let AI do that and make sure that you're just worrying about the verification and document management from there.
Absolutely. I think to your point, I mean, it sounds like a small task, but it might be a small task that takes somebody 30 minutes to do. And the more 30-minute chunks we can wipe out of this process, we can easily go from spending 10 to 12 hours drafting a rough draft to a matter of 30 minutes to a couple of hours, at this first pass. So yeah, I think it's a great point. The last thing I'll show here is we do have the ability to view all of the history that we had the AI accomplish on this step. So maybe I did ask the AI to rename these documents, and for whatever reason, I just didn't think it did a great job. I could easily undo any of these changes that I asked the AI to accomplish, reverting me back to the original exhibit list. I will quickly show as well that we do have the ability to download the evidence at this one step. So in the event I was not working or I did not need a letter, a waiver for this specific case, I would have the ability just to download the supporting documents for this case. And this is going to come in the same format and organization that we just confirmed. So we received that index of documents here, as well as the list of all the evidence. So again, for whatever reason, if we did not need a letter, a brief, a draft specifically for this case or for any case for that matter, we can use Visalaw to simply help us compile the evidence here. And if you are a Visalaw customer and you are interested in that, we do have a petition assembly process type in the draft workflow that is dedicated to that process. There is no draft associated with that petition assembly process type, so this would be our last step if you were to select that. We're going to click next here, and we're going to move on to finalizing the draft. And on this next step, we have the ability to select the individual sections that we want to include in our waiver. I can pick and choose the individual sections if I was not including every section that I had available. But for demo purposes, we're going to select them all. We do have the ability, or this next screen is providing us with the case details. A lot of these details are going to be pulled in for us based on the supporting documents, but we do have the ability to edit or change anything that needs to be changed here. I'm going to fill in some of these inputs here for us that are listed as optional. So we will fill in these here, and we'll type in Dominican Republic. And I will say, for what it's worth, this case detail screen is really the one screen within the drafting process that looks different based on the different petition that we're drafting, right? The case details for an I-601A case look very different than an EB1A or an asylum brief, right? So this, depending on the process type that I'm drafting, this is going to be the one screen that looks different based on all of them. So I'll click next, and these are going to be the document settings for my waiver. The system will ask how I'd like to refer to the documents for the purpose of citation. I'm going to call them exhibits, but I have some options here. I would like to include an index at the end of this document, so I'm going to click yes, and I'll title that the index of exhibits. I do also have the ability to annotate the exhibit list. This would provide me with a short summary of what every supporting document is. So I'm going to click yes to show that. And then maybe the most important step within the drafting process is the ability to upload a template. And I already see a question in the comments kind of referring to this. This is going to be where we can select on the template that we want to choose from. We can upload as many templates for each process type as we need to. And if I had a template already uploaded for an I-601 case, I can just easily select on that template from this dropdown. The template is going to be used for the style of writing, the tonality, the way that we position certain arguments. So think of it more in the way that you write the cover letter, less about the actual format of it, but more so the substantive writing of that cover letter. And as I click next through here, that draft is going to begin generating. Typically from this step, it's going to take us about 3 to 7 minutes or so to draft the I-601A waiver. So just for the sake of time, we won't look at this specific waiver, but we're going to jump into another example that we did previously with the same supporting documents for the case. So down here, I do have an I-601A waiver that is completed using the same supporting documents, the same inputs. So we're going to go ahead and click into it, just like we would with our completed draft we just worked through. We can see here that we have the ability to either view this draft or edit this draft. And once I flip this into the edit draft mode, I do have a rich text editor right here within Visalaw. So I can come in here and make any changes just like I was in Word. So I don't have to download this document into Word to start making changes, but I do have that ability in case I wanted to download this into a Word file or a PDF. One benefit I do have to editing this document within Visalaw is I do have the ability to come in here and select on specific text and use this AI redrafting tool. This is going to allow me to redraft only the text that I selected, but I can provide the AI with redrafting instructions on what I wanted to take into account. So I can come down here throughout this whole document and redraft this entire document section by section if I needed to.
Mm-hmm.
Ultimately, the last step in this process, once I've made my edits, my approvals, I can click this download petition packet button. And this is going to download a similar document as what we saw earlier, but this time it's going to include the letter in addition to the index of documents and the list of exhibits. So we'll pull this open. We'll take a quick look at this. I know we're coming up on time, and then we'll transition over to the research side afterwards and quickly show you how we can kind of feed this into the research side of Visalaw and have the system analyze the waiver for us.
Yeah, and as you pull this up, Tyler, we won't get a great chance for you all to like really take a good look at this. So if you do want a copy of today's output, we're happy to provide that. So just send me an email, ian@visalaw.ai, and we'll get this to you. We'd love for you to take a closer look at this, just see what you think of our default sort of options on the drafting side.
Yeah. So this draft is going to do a good job at pulling in statutes, pulling in case law. It will also pull in quotes from the supporting documents and cite back to those exhibits here within the draft. As Ian mentioned, we won't go through all 75 pages. We're happy to send this over to you if you reach out to us. But in addition to the letter itself, it is putting together the index of exhibits in the same order that we reviewed earlier, as well as all the evidence in the same PDF packet.
Absolutely. And I think it's important to underline the point here, that we just got your first draft out. We've got your 75-page packet ready for you. And, again, collaboration is a thing that is very important to our tool. So you have the send for review tool as well. Maybe you're a paralegal and you're working on this. You're typically the first person doing triage, document upload, and starting the drafting process. And you can send that on to the attorney. I like to call that the slingshot effect. You've just gone from 0 to 1 here, and you've sort of moved that step much more quickly than you typically would have. So now, Tyler, we're going to see actually if we can do a quick review on this packet that we've just created.
Absolutely. I'm going to kind of do this quickly, but Isaac, you asked a good question. You're teeing me up, and I didn't even ask you to. So we have the ability now to essentially interact with this document using the AI here. I'm going to fast forward this because we are short on time. I've already created a project within Visalaw for Maria Rodriguez's case here. So simply put, oh, this was my project I was going to do live on the webinar. So simply put, what we have in this project is going to be all of Maria's information. What I mean by that is I do have all of Maria's supporting documents uploaded into this project already. I have the ability now to chat with the AI and also have the context of the 15 or the 16 project files that we uploaded for Maria's case. What I can do here in the chat that we were going to show towards the end of this demo is we essentially came in here and prompted the AI to review the 601A waiver for us. This was a prompt that we put together rather quickly. We actually used the AI skill assistant to build a skill for us, which we can probably go to in more detail on a future webinar. But essentially what we're asking of the AI is we're telling the AI we're going to provide it with the waiver. We want it to review the waiver and perform the following tasks. We want it to identify and flag any inconsistencies with the information or documentation provided, assess the strength of the case, any weaknesses or gaps in the arguments, flag any other issues or concerns, and summarize the findings. And what we see here to sum this up is that list of potential inconsistencies, strengths, etc. If we take a look at this list here, you would actually find most of the inconsistencies and weaknesses in the case actually go back to the fact that we use supporting documents for these cases. Naturally, giving demos all day, we're not using real data, we're not using real people. So we use things such as Fictionville as a location, which the AI is coming back and saying, hey, that's not a real place. But it's a good thing to show that the AI has the ability to kind of give us that feedback and things to call out. If we scroll down within the weaknesses, the system is identifying some areas that we need stronger documentation from our client for. So it is going to suggest that we ask for additional documentation that we don't have in our list of supporting documents at this time. It is going to kind of give me a clear recommendations or next steps portion of the answer as well to kind of give me that concise idea of what the next steps would be. And while I was testing this, I went ahead and just asked, are there specific documents I should request from my client to strengthen the case? And this is essentially what it came back. It let me know the highest priority documents to request, those specific documents. And towards the end, it's going to give me the priority in what I should focus on when I go back to my client. So that was a very quick look at how we can interact with this document. We'll probably do some type of webinar on this alone down the road. But if you're curious or want to see more of this in action, to Ian's point earlier, I would definitely recommend scheduling a one-on-one demo with us, and we'd be happy to walk you through what this might look like for your workflow.
Absolutely. And we're going to be doing some more helpful practical workflow tips and tricks on I-601A specifically on Thursday. So if you want to see another webinar like this one that's going to go over more specifically these sort of use cases, you can join us on Thursday. But this is such a really valuable thing as well, Tyler, for, obviously the iteration process that you're going to do to hone in this petition that we've just created. But now you also know where things are a little bit weaker, where you're strong, what you should focus your points on. And you really have a really strong way to move forward with this, whether you're a solo attorney or whether you're working as in sort of a larger organization. You're just focusing on this piece and getting ready to move it along to another attorney review or whatever the case may be. There are some real powerful workflow benefits to having AI step in here and identify these things, create the petition. We just did this in 30 minutes, and we basically have sort of our next steps, what we're going to do with our client, what we're going to do with our peers, whoever's working on this case with us. These are really, really strong sort of next step options that you have within your workflow process. Something that could have taken you hours has now only taken 20, 30 minutes here. So I believe if there's any other questions, we would love to answer those while we have the time here as we're sitting on the call. As we're waiting on those, again, happy to answer anything that comes up. Again, if this is your first time seeing Visalaw AI, the best next step that you can take just to learn more about us, learn about what our packages are, our pricing packages. Book a demo, talk to Tyler, talk to Josh, talk to Jack, talk to Will, and learn a little bit more about what Visalaw AI can do for you in your specific context. We'd love to chat with you and get your feedback as well. I'm not seeing any additional questions right now. I'll hold for just one moment, but yeah, I mean, this is such a powerful use case, I think, in the drafting session here, and then we will go over legal research tips and prompts on Thursday. Again, I'd love for you all to reach out. If you have any questions, if you want a copy of today's output, happy to provide that to you as well. Just send me an email, ian@visalaw.ai, and I'm happy to get you connected to the right resources, whether you're a current customer or you're just learning about Visalaw AI for the first time. All right, I'm giving one last look to the chat here. I don't see anything new, so with that, I'll just say that I appreciate everybody for stopping in today and spending some time with us to go over our drafting product. Tyler, I appreciate your time. Is there anything else you want to leave us off here with?
No, I don't think so. Thank you guys for the questions and the interaction, but no, I think that's it for today.
Absolutely. All right, guys, thank you so much. Again, we'll see you on Thursday. We do these sessions every week. We do a drafting and a workflow session. If you want to keep up with that, find us on LinkedIn, find us with our newsletter. You can sign up for that and stay connected with all the events and information that we provide. So happy to get you connected with anything you need, no matter where you are in your AI buying journey. All right, so thank you guys so much. Yes, thank you, Michelle, Alejandro, appreciate it. Have a great day, and we will see you guys soon.